Parental advisory. There is adult language in this podcast episode. Watch at your own discretion. Mahalo.
Hey,
Hey, I can hear you. No problems. Wow, very nice.
sweet.
Like probably 5 out of my 5 podcasts so far, there's been like really awkward. Hey, no, I can't.
Hey, okay, hold on. No, you go. All right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, not much, man. Well, life's going on, but yeah, I have been waiting for this for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like I've been so psyched for this, man. I think I'm all caught up. Of course, you filmed. Did you film? You had one today. Did you have any others this week? I've
with
seen up to
Dylan.
that.
Oh, cool. Sweet. Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
Dylan Sauber today, and
Cool.
and then Nathan Martin,
Yep.
Noah tomorrow, Chris Mack soon this week.
Cool.
Um,
That's eclectic.
yes, absolutely. First time that word has been used on my podcast. Uh, I'm actually not going back to work for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, I've worked for a month. Quarantined for a month, a little bit over, and then I've been to work for just under a month. And I actually called in sick yesterday, and they took it pretty seriously.
Oh, wow.
They asked me corona questions, and I kind of talked about this in Dylan's podcast.
Okay, fair
Maybe
enough,
I
yeah.
can even cut this out a little bit, but it'd be nice to tell you. So I've been thinking for a while now, because I need my surgery, to request another layoff from them, which is kind of weird. I think, I don't know how often they get that, but I have my reasons, and I list 3 of them, and we'll see what happens after that. But I cannot return to work without a doctor's note, so I would need to go get
Interesting.
COVID tested.
So I don't know if I've just been sort of living in my own bubble or if it's like Salem. I always forget that Salem is like a city, really. Like
Yes.
as much as it comes off as it isn't, it's much bigger than I like picture in my head.
Sure.
And then the other thing is I am not working in any service industry or like that whole world I'm not a part of that at all. So as I've been listening to you on the podcast and you discussing with people who have worked in that or are currently as you are, it seems interesting. Like there's some seriousness to it. And of course, the other thing is for you and I, Oregon and Washington, we are like shut down. Like we are more, there's gotta be a funny pun or metaphor or some song that could describe like how much we are not supposed to be doing anything except staying at home.
True.
And it seems like other states are a bit more opened up, and we are sort of leading in the staying closed. So, but it's just like, has it been surprising for you, even still, like a doctor's note? You need that now, like,
right?
Is that?
Yeah,
that's just bizarre.
The precautions we're taking at work: masks all the time, gloves, changing gloves after every order, washing hands for a long time. I always pictured, I don't know why, 25 I'm just now learning this, but washing your hands 20 seconds, I always thought that meant 20 seconds under the water, but it's not. It can be 10 seconds of this. In fact, this is probably the most important part.
Right.
Is the 10 seconds and then probably 10 seconds under the water.
Okay.
And that's 20. So that's like, I've like, I picture sliding over a clip in like Final Cut Pro, like to match it up right here. That's what it feels like now. I figured out hand washing. So those precautions are, every shift is like 10 to 6 or 3 to 11. All at 8 hours. So.
And that's at a McMenamin's. Am I thinking right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to one before. It was like a really cool bar. I don't remember which one or what the name of it was, but
sure. Where was it?
I don't remember. It was by, oh no, it was in it was in Portland by the comedy club. I forget the name of it. I'm
Helium.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
like down the street from there, about.
Okay.
And so what is yours like? What is
Very small.
Okay.
Been there since 1853 in that location. Boone's Treasury is what it's called.
Okay.
And I actually don't know how much they would want me spreading their name, but too bad. I June 5th was my hire date, and that's actually like the longest job that I've held up till now.
Yeah.
So they've been so patient with me. They've been very consistent with their training. I've probably been written up 5 times with 2 final warnings because I mess up. Couple attendance issues as well as misplacing raw chicken. Like it can kind of be all over. And it stings every time and gets my attention. It makes me fearful. Okay, so check this out. This is when I worked at Topgolf in Hillsborough.
Oh yeah, wow.
It would take anywhere 45 minutes to an hour and a half sometimes. That scared me. That got my ass up, and I would go. I have this like gut feeling that I'm not gonna make it. Like the whole time I'm driving up there, I'm constantly fearful of anything stopping me. And then I got a job here in Salem, a 15-minute drive with traffic. I've made it there in like 6 minutes going fast.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 50 down to 35, that type of and it didn't scare me. It didn't get me out of bed. I was does that make sense? Like I just became very comfortable with, I think I know my schedule, or I know I have today off, and wake up at noon with like 3 calls and a couple messages like, hey, it's like, oh, dude. So none of it has been an injustice to me. It's all been like, yep, that's true.
Right.
So
yeah, it's good. I think it's just a part of that like putting people in your life that will like are able to tell you like, man, you're really messing up. Like this is bad.
Yes.
And it hurts, like it really like does. But you have, for me, I'm the way, probably the same as you, where I take that away and I process it on my own.
Sure.
And I learn from it like after the fact. And it's
absolutely
like, okay, I need to fix this, or I need to come up with systems or a plan to not let this happen again.
Yes.
And learn from it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like sometimes I'll be making a burger, thinking about my 2 film degrees, just being like, why am I here?
Man, yeah.
And I have to realize that I'm learning how to work with people I don't necessarily like, or I'm learning how to take discipline, because my kitchen manager was like, you would still have to show up to a film gig.
Yeah.
That's that shows us a lack of interest, that they know about all my film stuff. A lot of them follow me on TikTok, and and they're they're very aware of my pursuits in stand-up. They haven't come and seen me yet, but they plan on it. And the coronavirus has definitely divided us. We've definitely gone down to a skeleton crew, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Probably from six cooks to 3, and I don't know. They might deny my my ask for a layoff. That's not really the point that I was making. The point that I was making is that your job, you probably encounter technical issues that you have to overcome. But I can also imagine that you have the same thing with like learning how to work with this specific individual, learning how to communicate your thoughts as a video director, as a video editor. If you ever have to do editing like over somebody's shoulder, that is so hard for me without doing it myself.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I work in a team. I'm the only video person, but I still work in our creative team, which is about like 10 people. So you have production, you have music, graphic design, communications. Like these are all people that I'm naming. And I've worked with some of these people. I actually just hit my 3 years at Bethel last month.
Wow.
Which is crazy to think about.
Wow.
3 years, yeah. And so some people I've worked with 3 years. I think the shortest, maybe the newest person on our team is like 2 years. So we have, so it was interesting when coronavirus hit, we shifted to working at home, and then we shifted to doing services online, because we haven't been doing live services at all. We've been recording. So Tuesday, today, where we're filming this, is my film day for Sunday services.
Gotcha.
And so we film everything on Tuesdays, and then Wednesday, Thursday is my edit day. Friday is review. Saturday is posting, and then by Saturday night into Sunday, everything's up on YouTube and Facebook. And so it's actually been really nice because we're not doing a live stream. There's all kinds of technical stuff with that. We tried it 1 week, and it sucked. Sure. And so we let's move our filming into like a studio space where we get more intimate. Like, since everyone's watching church from home, you're watching it from your living room. So we felt like it would be almost disingenuous to be on the stage and filming in the empty auditorium that seats like 1,200 people, and trying to make you feel connected to whatever the pastor is saying, whatever the words in the songs are trying to communicate. Like, so we moved up into a studio space, and it feels more like a living room than the auditorium does. Cool. So it's been really fun. So I have been like having a crazy fun time, at least as far as work and stuff, because basically the church is like, hey, Tristan, go home, work from home by yourself, and edit from home. And I'm like, this is probably my dream job.
Sure.
Obviously, I've realized, and I've known this for a little while now, but working all by myself, I couldn't do, like, if I had to edit 40 hours a week by myself, that would not work for me. So working with a team is working with people, but then also being the only video guy where it's like, hey, I got to go and edit this video, and I got to be by myself. Like, there's a great balance in that as far as just my personality. And so, yeah, it's kind of been perfect. As perfect as I could name it, is being like, go home and edit, and every Tuesday come in, hang out with your coworkers that you love, and film this video. So yeah.
Wow, good for you, dude. I'm excited to share some of your content, because there's stuff from each podcast that I'm hoping I can link to a Vimeo page, to Facebook. So yeah,
absolutely.
I definitely want to get all that from you.
Okay.
And watch it myself, probably for the first time. I really don't think that I've seen much of your released content, at least professionally.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to reconnect with your content and catch up with you, because there was a period where there was 3 years, I think, where we didn't see each other.
Right.
Which is disheartening.
Yeah, but man, like, it's so cool to see that you're doing this. And at first I was upset when I saw that you posted David and then Cameron, like in the same day, within a couple hours. And I was like, what is he doing? He needs to pace this out, and he needs to like come up with a schedule. And then probably by the 4th or 5th episode, I was like, no, like, it's very in the moment, and it's not scripted. Like, I just loved how organic it was. And I was like, no, it's good that he's just posting them when they're out. And so, so I've fortunately been making the time to watch them, as, you know, within a couple of days of coming out. We'll see how I'll keep up with that. But one thing the thing that I love about it is knowing where it comes from with you,
Sure.
And you're the person who has taught me a lot about friendship. Like the start of that was when we were living together in Michigan.
Yeah.
And just the way that I would have said back then, the way you do friendships was so different. And you were like, I felt like every time I walked into the apartment, someone new from school would be sitting on our couch. And I could never guess who it would be, like, especially in that first semester where you're meeting people. And it's like, it was like you crossed barriers and boundaries, and it didn't matter, like, people that people that I never would have connected with, people that I never would have been friends with.
Sure.
Through you, I've been friends with. And so the crazy part of it is that I'm reliving a lot of that. And I'm sure you've been too, but reliving it as I see names pop up on YouTube on my subscription feed and watching the channels and being like, yeah, like I would not have maybe ever talked to Jake Block if you hadn't been friends with him first, or I wouldn't have developed a closer friendship with Joe Miller if it hadn't been for you. And so I mean, if I can, I guess I just want to say thank you for being that friend to all of us, and being the person who, like, I just never have known someone who could do a podcast like this. And like, I don't know, I have like heavy emotional roller coasters when I watch an episode. Like sometimes I don't want to start an episode because I'm like, I don't want to feel away. I don't want to feel away about it. And then I'll jump in and then I'll finish the episode and just all day be like, I don't know if my mood is boosted, but I just am like happy and just thinking about things differently. Like, yeah, I could go on and on about it, but it's been very cool to be reminded of what you have taught me about friendship. So F is for friends. That's
F is for friends. Definitely. I just talked a little bit about that in my podcast with Dylan, and some of that was almost verbatim, but it was kind of about myself, which, you know, could come off as pretentious or whatever. But I was saying that there are people in my class who would not have connected, I believe, had it not been for my friendship with them individually that brought them to a place, to a birthday party, to a just a regular party. And because I would extend my invites. Hugh, Josiah, and I were big on going over to Hugh's mansion. I consider it a mansion, and
no, I refer to it as that.
Totally. So yeah, and just being able to bring, you know, because I would try to bring you with me as many I would at least extend the offer, if I remember correctly, to as many things as I felt you could handle, or, you know, maybe you would tell me, no, I'm not in the mood, and that would be okay with me. Sometimes I really wanted you there. Sometimes I really wanted you to be there, and whether it was a third party saying no, it should just be the three of us, or whether it was you. No, but I felt taught by you in just. I remember one of the first things you told me, just driving around Grand Rapids. Maybe school hadn't even started yet. It was just like we got there a week before school, I feel like, and just had that time to with your dad. Your dad was there for a lot of it, and I felt taught by you in just being yourself, no matter who is in your company. And I was 19 and you were 18, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And to have this 18-year-old wisdom still be used to a 25-year-old now is I feel taught by many friends at Compass, and Joe Miller was a big one for me as well, and also you just in being your own pillar and kind of unwavering no matter who you were with, because I was always kind of a what is it, a salamander or some shit, like Chameleon. Just I think I describe myself as that in our conversation. Even is I just feel myself. I'm different with Noah than I am with Tristan, or I'm different with Cam as I am with David Brown. And to some regard, that still is true, just because of who they are. There are things I can talk about with Riley that I can't with Cam. And
Sure.
But
yeah, I think there's an element to that. And for me, what I've seen in the podcast is I would refer to it as different sides of you, or that's not even the best way to put it, but more so like the different conversations that come up. Like, okay, we're going to talk about comedians over here. We're going to talk about faith over here. We're going to talk about whatever it is. Like, it's, I see it more as you're able, I feel like you're able to talk about a lot more things openly and freely with people, at least open the discussion. Whereas maybe for me, I could talk about it, but I would still, from my perspective, it seems like you could open up more about any topic.
Sure.
Whereas me, there's certain things that I would rather stick to. I don't know if there's a good example or way to explain that, but that's maybe sort of my perspective as I see you doing this and having these like exciting, totally different conversations with all kinds of people.
Sure. Yeah, I'm really excited. You know, I feel like I'm giving double information here, but I'm really excited to just, I feel like I have 20 episodes probably locked in. And after that, I would have to kind of start expanding my horizon. And, Joe Ryder just added me on Facebook within the last year. And that was somebody I honestly never cared for and was pretty harsh on with my initial judgments. He sat down at our table on orientation, and I shut the door immediately. I remember. And I did that to a lot of people, and it's so unloving. My dad describes it as you are very loving to your friends and as cold as ice to people otherwise.
Sure.
And that stings because that's very true. David Brown, dude, I was like, no. Based on his appearance, it was solely his haircut turn off. I was like, no, never mind. I'm not going to. And then he did like, in Les's class, he did a presentation on late night hosts. And I went, this dude is awesome.
Wow.
I don't know if you knew that because you weren't in my cohort, but that was the thing. Seeing him up there, his cadence was everything to me.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I was noticing it the most in Johnny's podcast, and I was also very surprised at how many times I was name dropped in that podcast. And like just unexpected. Like I was listening to it and I hear my name and I'm like, what the? And I rewinded that episode so many times. There's so much. Well, he's talking like he's going. So I'm like, wait, what did he say? And then what did he say about me? And it was funny. But in that, one of the things, man, like I have. Like you guys were right in that I haven't reached out to anyone. I have not kept in touch with anyone from Compass except for you and Jalan.
Sure.
Those are the two. And even obviously before October when we last saw each other, it had been a while since we really had talked or caught up.
Yeah.
And so I think for me that's a bit of selfishness and just getting caught up in my own world, and everyone does it. It's not to say like, if I haven't reached out to anyone, also no one has reached out to me in the last couple years, and it's not the point isn't to blame or to bring, but again, it's like knowing for you, and you even reference this with a couple of people, is the rocky relationship that you've had and how you're rekindling maybe in that moment on recording. Maybe previously as you're preparing for this, but either way, it's been interesting for me to kind of think about it, and just, I know about myself that I'm not good at maintaining long distance friendships, and that the ones that I do have either has been strong reciprocation or like heavily from the other side.
Sure.
But also at this point, there are those people that I like. You and Jalan are the people that I'm like, I never want to let those friendships go for
absolutely
for different reasons. But it has made me think like, man, what if what if I'd stayed in better contact with BPAT? What if, whoever it is, thinking about that. So I don't know. It's sometimes it's easy to get into like regret, but at the same time, it's like, man, like, I'm happy I've got great people in my life that keep me accountable, that love me, that, and that will always change. To a degree, your circle will always slightly be shifting, I think, depending on where you're at, what you're doing, where you live. So, yeah, I don't know. That's other things that I've just been reminded of from watching these. I don't want to get too meta by only talking about the podcast within the podcast.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Just, it's been impactful. It's been a lot of fun. So
I can't thank you enough for watching them and paying such attention to detail. I feel like that is such a Tristan thing to do. It really is. Like, it makes total sense. Everything that's happened, Joe Miller making the cocktail at the beginning, I'm like, this is Joe, dude. Yeah, I'm re-experiencing who these people are 14 months from not seeing them in person. Some of them at all over Facebook, or maybe just once, and not to sound rude or anything, but I've used your communication up till now with Michigan as kind of the model for what I don't want mine to turn into, if that makes sense.
That's real. Yeah, man. Like, if you're gonna learn from an 18-year-old me and learn from, I guess I was only 19, or I guess 19 when I left, or almost 20.
Yeah.
Right. And so just the choice to, I guess it was a choice to just kind of like, I'm too busy to keep up with people.
Yeah.
In a way. So yeah, but that's good. Like, use it and
Sure.
and learn from it. And now you get to have this podcast. And I forgot what I was gonna. Oh, that's what I was gonna ask you. I'm sure this is the case, but have you gone through your mourning period with moving from Michigan, moving back, like, as far as like for me, and this was, again, way back, end of 2015, I would have moments of like panic where I would so much wish to be in Michigan, eating at, what was the Chinese place down the road from Compass?
Oh yeah. We just always call it the Chinese place.
Yeah, the Chinese place with the $6.99 to go. It's probably not that much now.
Yeah.
Go boxes.
Yeah.
Like, I would have like memories of that and be like, I hate what I'm doing right now. I need to be back. So it was kind of that. But has that process kind of happened for you?
I think so.
Okay.
Definitely. I think so. I don't know if I've discussed this yet, but well, maybe I can go down a different path with it.
Sure.
The first month, I'll say month back, was rough. I was pissed at everything. Any little thing that would happen, I would. And there was one point in which there was this one kitchen job that I was really trying to get just for immediate income, slipped right into a job, and they led me through some hoops. Didn't work out. I came home, exploded in front of my mom and sister. Like, why'd I leave Michigan? I already fucking had a job.
Yeah.
Because I did. I had a job secured. It was going to start mid-March. I was going to be doing another 70 hours a week at $14 an hour. And that was, I had already been through this same job, the airport job, raising flags for passing vehicles and stuff, and made a lot of money. Made probably $12,000 in a span of 3 months. And this would have been more. So I gave up a lot of money to come back here to Michigan. I felt, and maybe Kiowa would disagree with this, but I felt I had overstayed my welcome with Kiowa. And I don't want if he were to hear that in this podcast or something, he might actually disagree with me, but I'm not sure. He's very hard to read for me. I felt like his girlfriend at the time seemed to be a little, she was kind of like this in his ear, and I don't know. I just felt like my car broke down, and I knew I had to. I was done with Michigan. I said it. I said it when my car broke down. I was driving it, and I went, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Take me back.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I also, whatever jealousy that may exist in your heart towards me for the friendships I was able to keep in Michigan, I have jealousy about you being able to cut it off and come back and work on your professional life, because I stayed in Michigan for my friends. I did. There was no sight of what the bachelor's was going to be. I didn't care. I was like, these are great friends, and I have to stick here. And I find myself within the past year and a half, probably more, just going, I should have followed Tristan.
Yeah. And I guess like you'll have to reconcile that further and as you go in life, right? Like like Cameron was telling you, he said like, hey, you might want to go make a trip, but like invest in yourself. And I feel like that's sort of the tone that I would echo, is just like, like find that balance where like you have like don't forsake or don't regret the friendships, obviously, and don't like that's part of who you are. That's a big part of who you are, I think, from my perspective, as someone who is very different from you. And so, but maybe, as you look to someone like me who I've prioritized different things, and there's friendships that I haven't prioritized, or I've prioritized work or career above that in some ways.
Yeah.
And so
rightly so.
At the same time, I moved back in with my family and with my parents. I've prioritized those friendships.
Yes.
Like I've had some ups and downs with my parents since then, but I would say the worst and best times in the last 4 years since, or what's it been, 5 or 6 now, since Compass.
Yeah.
Like I've had really good moments with my parents that I wouldn't have had if I had stayed, or if I had moved to some city or whatever. It's like, so I moved out of my parents' house over a year ago. And I feel like now, whatever happens in my life or in my parents' life, we will always be good. We will always be solid. So there's like, I've literally never verbalized that out loud for myself, but like so that's something I prioritized and made sure like me and my parents are good, So, and then career is just something in a big way, as far as working at Bethel, working at the church, like that is almost something that came to me, that God just gave me and blessed me with. And then the whole process. And so that is not something that I would have expected to have happen in the Tri-Cities, but it did. And obviously God knows that I'm supposed to be here. And I would say some of the best things in my life have come, probably, maybe the best things in my life, in my adult life, have come from working at Bethel and being a part of that community. So it's all stuff to learn from. It's all to take, what are you prioritizing? What are you, and it's all just trying to find that balance. And I don't know another way to say that, but it's interesting.
Yeah, finding that balance. I remember you saying to me in college, 5 years from now, I want to have a family. I want to be starting a family.
Wow.
And when you said that, I was like, oh, dude, that's gonna be the case with Tristan. Just knowing Tristan's drive, that's going to be the case. And I think
Yeah.
it's perfectly okay that it's not, because I couldn't be more excited for you to have stayed at this job for so long. And even the 4-hour distance bums me out, because I just wish that there was an easy link to collaborate with you,
Yep.
And maybe we should find one, because the more like deeper I get into here, with Nathan and Joey and David Gillio and Austin Coburn and you, and there's other people, John Nissen, people that I know I can reach out to and possibly even do a podcast with, and use this as the avenue to build those bridges even further. Because we haven't experienced much time with one another as adults and as collaborators. Right. So I'd be interesting to see if it even works,
For sure. Yeah. Definitely. And I wonder how much we would be building off of us as kids in college.
Sure.
And experience, because totally, it's like to move into that, like trying to be like, all right, we're adults, we're professionals. Like that would be interesting, especially if we had some pressure behind us, like if it was a group thing or if there's money involved. Like that would be interesting. And I'm sure I would not put it past us for that to just happen someday.
No, I want to move forward with something and find the right project. Right now, I'm plugging a lot of my stuff, but I have my website, I have Pipe Reel, Salem Roundtable. I'm starting to make homemade sauces with my older brother. We're gonna make like a homemade teriyaki and a lot of like hot sauces, and we want to experiment and just get variety and bring my uncle into it, who lives in Tri-Cities.
Oh yeah,
Uncle Ned Shed. He does airbrushing, and he did my shirt. Do you remember that shirt with my face on it?
Yeah. Wait, is this Ned Pearson?
Yes. Oh, totally.
He goes to Bethel. Yeah.
Yeah. How did I not see that connection?
Wait, he did the airbrush shirt?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah. You know
what?
When I saw him last, he gave you such praise, dude. He was like, bro, I gotta talk to you about Tristan. I am so impressed with that man. He was I can't even remember everything that he was saying, but it was in a tone. I remember the tone that it was said in, Uncle Ned is such a righteous man. It's so funny, dude. I only wish that I could speak with his conduct, but he was giving you such high praise, and I'm sorry that I didn't make that connection till now. That's so funny, but
I forget about it all the time. And I mean, it's been a couple months since I've seen him, but like when I see him at church, I just forget. Like I don't know why. I always forget that connection
between the familial connection.
Yeah. Right.
I get that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I was gonna just mention, like, from what I've seen from you video wise in the last probably since like February maybe, it seemed like your return to Salem has been triumphant, and I'm sure for you it doesn't feel like that at all. And obviously I'm connecting it more from the time that we saw each other in October past, because I forget how long you've been in Salem. It's been over a year now. And so I'm sure it doesn't feel like that. But from what I've seen, it's been really exciting to see that you're creating stuff. And I didn't know you had your website, and I went on there, watched a podcast, and then went on there when you'd mentioned it. And it's like, like you're not letting having a job, like you're not letting flipping burgers get in the way. You're not like, and like you've said before, it's some of these situations like COVID and stuff, like helping you kind of progress. But I love that you're taking different things on, and you're able to, you're like, I like stand-up. Yeah, I like writing. I like filming and working with a team. Like just
Sure.
you're kind of just trying at it, and I think that's how you're gonna learn like all these different things. Like you're just building up the skills. You're not trying to pigeonhole yourself. You're not trying to just focus on one thing and hope it works.
Yeah.
But it's just been cool to see that you can enjoy all that too. Because I think for me, I know what I like. Obviously, filming and editing and directing, I can kind of mush all that and all that is in my job too. But
Sure.
it's easy for me to go, I don't really want to do that type of video because I prefer this type of video. And you know, sometimes letting opportunities go away.
Oh.
But at the same time, like, because I work over 40 hours at the church probably, and so
Fasting.
yeah, it's amazing, and so I really have the opportunity to take on. I can be choosy with side projects.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Sure.
yeah, so that's nice, but I feel like the tone with you, obviously, because you're working, your job is not in film. When I get home from my job that's in film, I'm tired and I don't want to work on that side project. I don't want to work on editing that wedding that I filmed like a month ago. It's frustrating, and so, but with you, it's like, in some ways, obviously, you're still going to be tired after you get off work, but hopefully, you're engaging your creativity and you're going, okay, now it's time to get to work on the passion, you know?
Totally.
So,
Yeah, and I'm losing TikTok followers. Not much, but I'm losing them by the hundreds. So today, my first thought waking up was I have to make a good, well-edited TikTok video.
yeah,
I think I've been, I don't know if you've heard the term shit posting recently. That would be a post in which I'm just sitting here. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then I post it. Like, no effort, nothing.
yeah,
Happens a lot from even bigger comedians, especially even on Twitter. They'll just, like, you know, throw their thumbs around and
yeah,
everything. And I like that we have that connection, too, with Twitter, because that is something you seem to use a good mixture between professional and personal, and I'm trying to find that balance with mine as well. I'll go through and actually delete a lot of tweets of mine because it was more on the personal side as opposed to a professional. So,
yeah. I don't know. So I just texted you a tweet. Sometimes I type a tweet and I screenshot it and then I don't.
okay.
You could throw it up if you want to throw it up on the screen. You can, but
I can screen share.
it's really dumb. But I sent that to Jalon and I was like, should I tweet this? But I was like, I'm not going to. But
Hold on, I don't know how to do this. Okay. I'll throw it up in post. I know how to
okay.
do that better.
All right. Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned Twitter because, like, I don't know what I'm doing on Twitter ever. Like, I have tweets that I think are like heat. I'm like, man, this is fire, and it gets no likes. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, my favorite tweet from last year, I'll just say it.
Sure.
I said, it was in like the beginning of 2019 or halfway through, like about a year ago. I was like, so far, I would give 2019 2 million Scoville units. And that was the tweet.
That was it. And that's all right.
And I still love that. You know, like from Hot Ones, the wing temperature. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious, but no one liked it. So
nobody liked it. Nothing happened. No. Yeah, no, same with me. It's same with TikTok. The videos that I would not have chosen to, should I even post this, are like the ones that skyrocket. It's crazy. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah, that would bother me for sure. And but I guess that's just a testament to the weirdness of the internet and the weirdness of where things are at. And it's just like, you just gotta throw it out. You were talking about Twitter with the comedians, like just throw it out there and see if you might get a retweet, and then there you go. That's it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm excited to see you again. I'm excited for you to come out of quarantine and possibly have a project or two. Are you totally content with Bethel, or is this leading, kind of building to like a new opportunity? Have you gotten job offers for other places? Like,
Yeah.
what's your future
I
look like?
yeah. I'm very content with Bethel.
Good.
And it's good. At this point, I don't see myself leaving soon. And by soon, I would say in the next 5 years, I don't see myself doing anything different. I definitely can see myself staying in the Tri-Cities. This is my home. This is just like, this
Yeah.
is where I feel. So I've thought about what it would look like to move somewhere. And, I don't know. It would have to be like really compelling work, and maybe it would be if I'm in my 30s, if I'm still like unmarried in my 30s, and just like maybe there's something big there. Um, but yeah, I feel really drawn. I am able to do some side projects, and so like I've been working with a Christian rapper from here,
Really?
and yeah, we've done 5 music videos together.
Wow.
Yeah, in the last 4 years. And so, or three, I guess, but
Okay.
our fifth, what is it? Our fifth or sixth music video, we are filming uh, on the 31st or the 30th. Uh,
Cool.
so we're getting ready we're doing some pre-production for that. And that's just on the side, um, just kind of for fun. It sort of scratches my creative itch, because there's no rules for us because it's just the two of us and we decide what we want to do. Um,
Awesome.
and so that's one of the true, like really like I can get really creative in that and really like challenge myself to just be like try and be creative visually. So
So
um,
what's
yeah.
the equipment? Are you able to use church equipment for personal use at all?
Oh, totally. Yeah,
Cool.
I use so yeah, we use Sony cameras and so
So
yeah,
they
I
know about this. It's not like a secret.
right. No. Yeah. But I don't have to ask anyone. I used to ask my boss when I was in my first year there, and then like now people ask me to borrow cameras,
Oh,
and so like it's just kind of how I've worked up
yeah.
uh, in my role and in my responsibility. So
Hmm.
uh, yeah, I use those cameras all the time. I'll shoot weddings. I try and do 3 or 4 weddings a year. Sometimes it ends up being more. I don't advertise for weddings. I just wait for people to ask me. And but I don't like doing weddings because they're just hard work and they make good money. But I don't prefer doing them. So I try and do in the summer. I'll try and do like one in May, June, July, August, something like that. And that's
Sure.
about what I have. So, anyways, I'll use cameras and audio gear for that, and it's nice. So I do have access to cameras and gear and lights
Wow.
for stuff. So I've been able to. The resources for it are amazing for sure. The opportunities I've had
Yeah.
in that, and two, working in the largest church in like Southeast Washington is
Huh.
um, people look to that. And so people in the community are reaching out to Bethel and being like, hey, what resources do you guys have? And so sometimes that's me. So sometimes I'm helping um, other people, other businesses. Sometimes that's a more of a church. If it's not a ministry thing, then usually I would say, okay, I'm going to charge you because I'm not really getting paid by the
Yeah.
church. So, but yeah, it's yeah, a lot of cool opportunities. So yeah, I don't really see anything. I've always said that I could see myself doing freelance and doing my own production company. I could see that happening someday, but like maybe in a decade,
Sure.
if I just want to go do my own thing and just be kind of more free. But I feel a lot of freedom to work
Good.
at Bethel. So
Good.
Yeah.
That's so cool. My car is built for long drives. It was used as a rental car,
Okay.
and then it had an owner who had 2 DUIs in it, and I bought it from her, and she went to jail. So that's where I got my car. I got it on Halloween.
Oh, okay.
This past Halloween. Um, so I would love to make a trip up there.
Yeah.
Been on my mind because my grandparents live in the same space, so I would want to divide that, but make whatever we collaborate on be like make a trip up there for personal reasons, but also for professional. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I'm really desiring collaborating with you, driving up to you, and just kind of rediscovering your neck of the woods, because I don't know how much time I've spent up there as an adult.
Yeah.
It's been guided around by, and I recognize a lot of Richland. I can, but as far as finding my way around and knowing Richland or Tri-Cities,
Yeah.
yeah, that excites me.
Man, that would be really cool. That would be a lot of fun to just spend a couple days, and yeah, yeah, we could totally plan that. I'd say sometime this summer, like later in the
Yeah,
summer,
definitely,
would be a really good time for
definitely
that
when
to happen.
things open back up, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really funny watching on your YouTube channel all the videos that we did in college or around that
Yeah.
time. I forgot all of the videos of us, like, in some ways playing the exact same characters, but like
Right.
the battle royale, like I
Oh,
totally
I
forgot
know.
about
Dude, that's my favorite. I love, dude, some of the stuff that you do in Battle Royale, I love every time. Because you're such the great straight man to my goofy. Um,
fun.
uh, what is it? You say, I mean, Goonies never say die. It's like the classic line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I watch it back and, I rewind it when you, one more and, nope, I missed you. Okay. Let me go back down.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, so funny. It's funny. I'll be honest. In preparation for this, I made a playlist of all of our videos together.
Did you?
So I'll send it to you, and if you want to link it.
Sure.
But also, I guess if I had to pick, I'd rather the church stuff. But I don't know.
In the intro that I can give for you, I can just list a bunch of links. I'll just
Yeah.
throw like a bunch of them. So throw me anything. Throw me
Sure.
anything.
Okay.
Even in the, I can do your stuff professionally in the bio, and then maybe our videos I can do like end cards here on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would work.
Okay. Cool.
We're still like 15 minutes out from an hour, so.
Oh really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I started late with you, right? Oh, okay. No, not 15. It's probably around 10.
Okay.
But,
Yeah. Hey, is this the part where we talk about religion? No.
Well, I was just going to ask you what's on your heart. Like, if you want to, there's sometimes with me that things are mulling around, very introspective thoughts, and I know that you're that type of person too. You feel things very deeply, and I think that the difference between you and I is I'm more extroverted than you are. I mean, just as extroverted as you are introverted, I think.
Sure.
But I think we're still deep feelers, the both of us.
Yeah.
But it's processed differently. I think small moments can be very big for us psychologically.
That's a good way to put it.
So is there anything that you've just been like, I don't know, observations? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, man, that's a good way to put all that. And one of the things that I thought about was like, if I were to talk about, let's say, church experiences and like relate to you with that, like I was saying earlier, Bethel, the church that I work for, the best things in my life have happened because or at that church or with people from that church. And the worst things that have happened to me in my life have happened because of another church that I grew up in, right? At First Baptist. Like,
Oh man.
and so like I was even thinking like the dichotomy of that is just so interesting to point out. Like if someone were to ask me like, you know, what about religion specifically? That's what I would say is it's like people like are all over the place. And so just because someone is a Christian doesn't mean you're going to have the best experience with them, and you're going to have, and I think, yeah, so it's just interesting. So it's like, I think it's so easy for people to sort of stereotype, but it's like I've had the best experiences and I've had the worst experiences from churches in the same town, and that's because people are not perfect, but God is. And so my experience with God has been, if I've ever had a bad experience with God, it's because I've been a shithead.
Sure.
Like,
Wrong.
and so I don't know, like, I feel like for me, I've just been challenged very recently I've been reminded of the power of the gospel. It's so easy as for us, like growing up in that and growing up, it's just, it's easy to forget the simplicity of what Jesus did for us. And yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to just be more bold, and been kind of scared of like questioning, like, am I too comfortable with where I'm at? And so I don't know, that stuff like that has kind of just the last couple days for me. I feel like I'm not being as articulate as I can be, but
Sure.
Yeah, for me, like, church is not the goal. I work at a church, but that's not the goal to me.
Yeah.
Like, the focus and I one reason why it's come up more is because of coronavirus, and like everyone's in a panic, and you have these high emotions all over. And I think I've been feeling the spirit kind of being like, hey, respond to people. And I don't mean like respond to people, but like respond to people in love and kindness, and share the good news that God loves us, He created us, and wants a relationship with us. So I don't know. I guess that's just me basically just sharing the gospel straight up. So, but that's not me. So I don't know. That's interesting that is like, if you were to ask me what do you want to share? It's like, okay, I'm going to share this, I guess.
Well, I think it's very similar to kind of what's been happening in my own heart.
Wow.
Man, I feel like in this coronavirus, a line in the sand has been drawn.
For you?
No, for the world. You're either with the Lord or you're not right now. And the people who I see being taken care of right now, like totally taken care of financially, I think are the people who are with God, and the people who have been maybe permanently let go, or their business is shut down for good, might just not be the people who are walking with the light right now. And
yeah,
that's just maybe I'm totally off, but that's just like an observation that I've made and something that I've thought. I feel as if the clock has started for tribulation. That's and again, maybe I'm way off, but Joe Rogan said something to the effect of, I was just listening to him, and he said my exact thoughts, and I wish that I could articulate them right now, but coming from kind of an atheist, alien UFO believer, I was like, wow, like that's kind of what I believe, but in a spiritual, like religious way. He just thought that that this was the beginning of the end, I think. And I don't know. It could just be this virus that's going to go away. Things happen. Um, but I don't know if you've heard me talk about this documentary that Block sent me. I talked about it a little bit with Riley, a little bit with Block. Incredible documentary and very convincing for this being kind of the, at least for this being a moment in history for new things being found out, like a rewriting of history, because this documentary talks about John F. Kennedy Jr. He was seeking to avenge his father's death because he believes that this elite Hollywood ring, this like pedophile ring, was what killed his dad. And when he himself died in a helicopter crash in '99, Trump was best friends with him and decided to take on his mission. So the documentary lights Donald Trump's mission as still being relevant today, as him knowing that the ring exists, possibly because he's even been offered a spot in it, and because he knows that's why people are attacking him in every way that they can, because the darkness is being threatened. That's like what this documentary, and so it's been very, very heavy on my heart.
Wow.
Since I watched it.
Yeah, definitely send that to me, because I think this is a time for all people to like just think about, like, everything's disrupted. Everything that you thought was safe has now been messed up, at least on Earth, like physically, right? And so it's like I think you're kind of I think the reactions that we're seeing is not necessarily unwarranted, but I do think people are just going in any direction that they can, and not and thinking that maybe they found truth and just going that and saying, this is the right way, everyone follow me, or like, if you're not doing this, you're completely wrong. I think it's a lot more nuanced. And there's a lot of conspiracies that I've heard that sound really compelling. But what I do know for sure is, I think the time for churches to stand up. And I've even seen it a little bit. I think a lot of people, secular people, have looked to the business world to kind of help them.
Yeah.
In America. And I've seen churches stepping up in that place where businesses are for either not or can't, or just for one reason or another. So
like in terms of like local outreach and stuff.
Yeah, like just making sure that the lower class is being fed, and like people are not dying, or maybe that's not dying, but just making sure people are okay. So it's just an interesting time. I think I can always take more time to progress my understanding, or just try and take in more, like, hey, what is this person saying? What is, but yeah, I think it does seem like there's a shift, and I would say it's spiritually, that I think the enemy is trying to move things around and change it.
I think he's a little scared.
Yeah, and I think God knows what's going on, and it's it might not seem easy to approach God depending on where we're at. I know for me, at the beginning of my quarantine, I was actually like a little depressed and just dealing with some of my own stuff.
Same.
And this whole process has just been an upward trajectory for me, where I've just been getting my footing and learning more about myself, and learning more about God. So that's been that's kind of been my quarantine in a nutshell. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Right on. Well, I think if you don't mind, that kind of fills our time.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. You are number 11 for me,
Cool.
and I couldn't be more excited to have you at least be early on in my podcasting, because I have done a lot of them. I've done like last week I did like 3 in one day and one the next, and um yeah, I
Yeah.
mean 3 today and then 1 tomorrow. So I couldn't be more excited to reconnect with you and have you on. So
Yeah, man, this is a really, really fun opportunity, and I'm glad we got the chance to sit down and yeah, just reconnect. Like this format, 3-4 months ago, this format was shunned upon, and now we're giving it all of our sweet love. But it's
yeah,
good. It's good. It's like, man,
yeah,
why wasn't I zooming everyone for
totally.
all the time?
Yeah,
So
if this can at least spark some sort of interest in you, not interest, but instigate some sort of a bridge between you and Michigan again.
yeah.
I couldn't be happier to provide that little spark. So yeah, dude, I love you, and I couldn't be more excited to have you here and as a potential collaborator in the future. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Let's keep talking and keep just working towards an opportunity to at least hang out in person.
absolutely.
Yeah, cool. I love
Yeah.
you too. Thank you for this. Thanks for bringing me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Later, bro.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.